No Boundaries radio show may contain adult material and coarse language. Listener discretion is advised.
And I want you to know that I'm listening to one of the coolest shows on the planet. This is No Boundaries Radio, and we're glad to have you. Better wear a cup.
This is Gabrielle Faust, and you're listening to No Boundaries Radio, where all the vampires hang out late at night.
Hi there, this is the artist, Mike's Bliss. I'm over here in London, and I'm here to tell you that No Boundaries Radio has gone global and is drawing listeners from all over the world.
This is Donna Stewart from Sci-Fi Radio, and you're listening to No Boundaries Radio. They're a little messed up, but they're cool.
Welcome to the No Boundaries radio show. Are you ready for a wild ride in radio entertainment? Let's welcome our host, William Maltese, author of over 200 books, and JoJo from VampireWear, creator of jewelry and clothing for the undead. Hey everybody, welcome to the debut of No Boundaries radio show on the ParaX network. And before we get started, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody at ParaX, to name a few: Dave, Kimmy J, Tim, the whole gang. They've made us feel very welcome here, and we're very happy to be here. So 8 o'clock Wednesdays is our new little home here, William.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I too am very appreciative. Yes.
Yes, it's great. So, but William, how are you feeling, and what have you been doing this week? I know you were a little bit sick.
Yes, a little bit sick. Yes, what have I done? Yes, I've been doing much of nothing except lying around with a horrendous sinus infection, thank you very much, and the doctor tells me that I won't really clear up for another week. So I've really not been a very happy camper. So what I'm drinking tonight, which I know you're going to ask, although I can't remember whether you did or not. Whether you did or not, I'll tell you what I'm drinking tonight. I was hoping by way of celebrating our dark guest and our transfer to the ParaX radio station by going down to my deep, dark cellar and getting one of my very last cobweb-covered bottles of a state-bottled Dracula Vampire 2005 Cabernet Sauvignon wine, which I modeled for the vampire on the label, by the way, which is why I still have them down there.
Yeah.
Or maybe I thought that I'd make some high-octane paranormal-inspired cocktail. That's what I thought. But alas, because of my medical regimen of antibiotics, which don't exactly mix them with alcohol.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm afraid what I'm drinking is what I've been drinking all week, which is basically Pellegrino sparkling mineral water, which will give our listeners the advantage of realizing that I can be just as charming, sick and sober, as I am a raving drunk, which is usually how they'll be hearing me.
Yeah, I've seen that wine before. Yeah. That's very cool that you're on the bottle of the wine. So
yes, I know. It's either that or I figured I would probably be sleeping through the whole, or sleeping before the program even began, or sleeping when the program
Don't
the
sleep
program
during
was
the
over.
program. That's not very.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not drinking anything this week, but I'll start drinking again, I'm sure, next week. Which brings us to what you're doing, what you have been doing, and what's up with VampireWear. So why don't you fill us in before we get to our guest with what you've been up to?
Well, I'm very happy to say that our guest, Patrick E. Flanagan, I have his book on my website. So if you go to VampireWear.com and you go under the vampire books, you can actually get Patrick's book, Gothic Dreamscapes, and as well as all of my jewelry and everything is there. And in honor of tonight being on ParaX, I have a 10% discount voucher available, so anybody that wants to buy anything from the site gets 10% off anything they want, and it's really easy. You just put in ParaX, P-A-R-A-X, and you get 10% off at VampireWear.com. So, Yeah.
And that's easier than some of your
I know.
code words have been.
Well, that's
I
what
must say.
I'm trying to
Maybe
make
it's
it
a good
easy.
thing we came to Para-X so
It
that
is.
you didn't have to put in so many letters.
Exactly. One of those
Okay.
www//
Yeah,
dot.
yeah, really.
But anyways, I'm so happy that Patrick's here with us, and our guest tonight is Patrick E. Flanagan. Patrick's works have been showcased in galleries and colleges in the Midwest. Patrick is a Gothic photographer and poet. His book, Gothic Dreamscapes, is out right now, and his new book is soon to be released called Modern Gothique. So welcome to the show, Patrick.
Thank you. It's good to be here. How are you, Joanne? How are you, William?
Great.
Well, I'm just horrible. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Wow.
But it has nothing whatsoever to do with you or being on the show tonight, which has in fact cheered me up just a bit. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Since we have your, let me start out, since before my voice completely goes out on me. By the way, this is probably the lowest you're ever going to hear my voice on the radio program. It'll start going up octave by octave until you think you have a mezzo-soprano on one show.
Are you going through puberty?
Yeah, right. That's what you think. I'm going to prove it on the show. That's what's happening. That's what people will end up saying, believe me. So enjoy this low tone while you've got it, because it ain't going to last for long. Now, why don't you explain to readers and to everybody, well, not to readers because, well, you can explain to readers because the readers are probably listeners too. But why poetry instead of... By the way, does your poetry rhyme?
No, it does not rhyme.
So it's prose. So it's prose, actually, right?
It's prose, right, yeah.
It's prose. So why prose? Why prose/poetry rather than novels, short stories, something or something in that regard, like everybody else is writing? Because actually, poetry, I know for a fact, is a very, very difficult field, not only to write but to get published. So I'm quite fascinated in that regard.
So your question is multifaceted. Okay.
Yeah, just rave on. That's Then I can save my voice. Go ahead. Yes.
I started writing poetry from the age of 6, actually, and at that time it was basically my form of expression because I came from an abusive home, so that was my way to, speak my mind and talk, and I never really showed my works to anybody back then. They were just things I did, and I never thought I was going to do anything with my works or my photography, and that didn't come about for, about 10 years ago, when I was working in security at a college, and the gallery director saw my photography laying on the desk when I walked away from the desk, and she wanted to read, or she wanted to make a phone call, is what happened. And when I walked away and came back, she was holding my photographs in her hand. And that's how it all started.
So your poetry actually was it all things that were happening in your life? I mean, so you were writing, had you read Poe? It's just fascinating to me that some people decide that their avenue of writing is going to be poetry. Other people decide it's going to be short stories. Other people decide it's going to be novels.
I read Poe later in life, but the thing is, my work has always been an expression of my moods, my feelings, different things like that. It's always been that way. And, certain people have called me everyman's poet, or, certain people have compared me to Poe. I don't necessarily believe in that comparison. I'm just me, and all I do is try to, let people know how I feel, because I'm quite sure there's a lot of people that have felt this way or that way, and, that have been depressed or down, and, need to know that other people out there feel the way they have.
Yes, and you're putting into words sometimes what other people can't express.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have.
Do you write?
Oh.
Well, no. I'll let you go ahead. You can say something.
Oh, thanks,
Jojo.
William.
I'll let you say something.
Oh,
Jojo.
thank you,
Go ahead.
William.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
You're
because
welcome.
I just had a really great Kimmy J is in chat actually, and she says hi to everybody and everybody.
Oh, I love Kimmy J.
Hi, Kimmy.
She's one of my favorite people.
And
Yeah, she's awesome.
She is.
Yeah, she is.
And everybody's enjoying the show. But Kimmy had done a review on your book, and it says, Gothic Dreamscapes is a book that's to be taken in deeply. It speaks to the core of your being and says what I had no words for. The photography has a strange calming effect, like strolling through a cemetery on a summer's day. So I just wanted everybody to know your book is getting great reviews. And with all the photography in your book, I wanted to know, because I know you're close to Michigan, but do you travel a lot to do some of your photos, or?
Well, for Gothic Dreamscapes, yeah, I travel a lot for that book. And for Modern Gothique, yeah, I travel between Ohio and Michigan for that book. So.
Do you write your poetry to supplement your photography, or do you take your photography and write your poetry to supplement it? I mean,
neither,
does one come? Neither.
Neither. Actually, what inspires me photographically is things I've never seen. I like to look at art and photography completely differently. What I see, somebody else might not see, and that's how I look at taking a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
that's what I do.
If one picks up one of your books, then is one looking at? If one picks up one of your books, is one then looking at photographs and poetry separately, actually, or?
Yeah.
I mean, along the same theme. I know.
No, it's separate. It's like your old coffee table books.
So you're not really. There's not like poetry to go with a photograph.
No, certain poems will match the theme for the photo, but other times they don't really match. It just really depends. I mean, if they haven't matched, it's a good thing.
Okay, and I wonder whether I should be worried about you, because you do seem to spend a good deal of time in cemeteries. Whether on those summer days that Kimmy J was referring to, or...
You know what, William? Since you're so interested, I will tell you what. I will read a poem to you, so you can tell me for yourself what you think.
Yes, that's great.
Okay.
Okay, read a poem to me.
This is called Dying.
Oh, right. That's how I've been feeling the last week. Go ahead.
It's just for you, William.
Just for me, right.
To William Maltese, Dying.
Thank you.
Well, I just kind of turned to it in my book, and I decided, why not?
So empathetic. I'm appreciative. Go ahead.
I am empathetic.
Yeah,
or sympathetic, whichever.
Whatever. Yeah, right. Go ahead.
I do love you, William.
Go ahead. I'll just have another drink of sparkling mineral water.
Oh, I thought you were drinking. Well, okay. Here we go. As the leaves fall from the trees and crumble into dust and scatter amongst the winds, dead and forgotten as I will be. No one to remember me, not even the winds will scatter me. In this world, I am nothing more than forgettable. As my days, often on my nights, I see that I made no viable impact on any person, place, or thing. When I leave, no cross shall bear my mark, no one to utter my name, no angels to watch over me as I sleep, no light at the end of the tunnel, no silver linings, just dust. No more, a dying, wretched pustule of a being. What am I, if not nothing? I give up all of my being for one person, just so they know what life should be like, and how they should be treated, and how they should be loved, giving it all to them so they can feel the way they'll always deserve to feel, so they can heal, so they can become something free from control, so they can just live without fears or constraints, a life filled with hopes, dreams, happiness, and pure joy. So if I give up all of my being, they may live when I turn to dust.
Well, not only is it a poem about dying, but it's really depressing. Thank you very much.
It's beautiful, but it's
not
sad.
really.
And it's certainly not about me, because I'm going to be remembered forever and ever after I die. Like the
Oh,
pharaohs.
yes,
I'm
you will.
anything for anybody.
Well, of course you're going to
William?
be remembered.
William,
William. Yes, it's very good. What, JoJo?
William, if you die before, okay, we'll make a pact right now. If you die before me,
Yes.
I will promise to keep your Facebook updated, and if I die before you, you can update mine.
Oh, honey, that's going to be really good for me, but with my ability at updating anything, you're going to be forgotten in a couple of minutes. You might want to rely upon your boyfriend, who is more into electronic stuff, to keep your update.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
take that. I'll take that promise from you. But I think your boyfriend will be more able to keep your name going for a long, long time. Well, your beauty, too, and your pictures, that'll manage.
Oh.
Well, that was very... Well, look,
was
thank
lovely.
you
Yeah,
for that read.
that was very
because
nice.
that really... Yes. And actually, that was a very... I like that kind of depressing thing.
Yeah,
as
me
long
too.
as the poem is not titled, William Maltese, I can enjoy that kind of poetry.
Well,
So I
when you're ready for that, I'll write your epitaph if you want.
But he was saying that he wanted to meet somebody that he wouldn't feel that way. So
Oh,
So
well,
there-
he would.
there was
but,
still
I mean,
hope.
it couldn't have been me, because I don't want to meet anybody like... I don't want to... No, I'm not into... I'm not... No. No, but I like...
You're not into what?
well, I said
I'm
there
not
was
in-
hope.
I'm not into being, giving up.
No, but
What do I care about other people?
there was hope
I
in
mean,
that poem.
I don't want to meet any one person and then, sacrifice everything for them. Pooh.
That's a
You
poem in
said
itself. I think that should be a poem. I don't want to sacrifice
that's it.
anything.
It's a
Poo.
haiku, as a matter of fact, Joanne, which I'm really very good at. Very, very good at something rather, I'm not giving up for anything poo or something rather. I'll have to work on that very well, but yeah. No, I like that kind of poetry. I like Poe, as a matter of fact, and I certainly like Patrick Flanagan poems.
Yes.
So, now, are you, I suspect, although what the hell do I know? I mean, I'm not sure. But did you really have a wretched childhood?
Yes, I did.
Full of angst and all of that stuff? And is it something
yeah.
you can talk about? Or is this
Yeah,
something...
sure. What would you like to know?
Well, I'd like to know what was going on so badly in your life.
Oh, okay. Well,
You just all your time in cemeteries and writing dark, dark, dark shit.
well,
pardon,
I
no,
can
that's
I can
not
start
a
at the
word
beginning
I
for
could
you if
use
you'd like.
in a fair act. No. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, if you-
William, you're throwing me out there, buddy.
oh, yeah. Take it and run with it and leave me be.
Oh, yes, baby. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Tell us what went on in your
Okay. I was born 3 months premature.
Yeah.
So
Well, that in itself is a trauma.
yeah, I was 2 pounds 13 ounces.
Wow. Tiny.
Before the age of 1 year old, I was given lacerates 4 times. So
Oh, good Lord.
yeah. Then when I was 2 years old, I tried to end my existence, and
At two?
At what age?
At
bobby
two?
pin.
Two?
What age?
Two.
2?
Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
stuck a bobby pin in a light socket.
And was this intentional at age 2?
Yes.
Did you think to yourself at age 2, I'm going to kill myself by sticking this bobby pin in this light socket? Or
I
something?
felt like I didn't belong. At that age, I felt like I didn't belong.
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead. Ooh. Okay.
And then at 6 years old, after getting beat up at school and abused at home, I stuck my feet into the tubes of the television set and tried to kill myself that way. It electrocuted me, but it didn't kill me. So
Wow.
Well, why? I mean, were you just, where's your support? Where's mommy and daddy?
well, I
And you poor little
Mom-
baby.
well, mommy was the abuser and daddy was an alcoholic and neglectful.
Oh.
So
Well, that explains that. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
yeah, I mean, my mother had her choice of implements, Hot Wheels racing tracks, electrical cords, switches, my dad's belt, her hand, whatever she had handy.
Wow.
And I was the oldest child, so I always got it.
Well, just remember, if this is really, if this is uncomfortable for you to talk about, I mean,
no, you know what, I'm past it now. I can talk about it. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, and that's really why I'm doing this, is because in case anybody else has, had trauma or pain or whatever, maybe they can relate, and maybe they, can know that not everything dark is bad, and not every feeling is bad. Just because you have a thought or feeling doesn't mean it's necessarily bad or evil. It's just a form of expression. You just have to have the feeling and get through it and make things better.
Well,
and is it true that you have lost the sight in one eye somewhere along the way?
Yeah, actually, before they believe that it happened when I was in the incubator when I was a baby.
Oh,
my right eye.
Sticking their finger in your eye or something.
No, they believe that when I was in the incubator, when I was 2 pounds 13 ounces, that it happened then, that they had oxygenated the tank too much or whatever the hell.
Oh, too much oxygen into the into the eye.
Sometimes I think too, Patrick and I had been talking beforehand, is that a lot of times it seems like people with that kind of, like, something kind of dark like that in your past, that actually you bring it into your art. So, and Patrick's done that with the
that's basically
poetry.
why I ask. I mean, if someone is really dark and it does, I mean, he's dark in his writing, he's dark in his photography, and one thinks, does one come out of a, happy, opie, existence and write this stuff, or does one really need? Does it help that you have a dark?
It probably
some
helps.
people have different imaginations, but other people, I mean, I'm sure
it helps too. Like if you have, when bad things happen in your life, when you can express it through art and all that, that's getting it out there as well. Besides just talking about it, you can actually put it out there, and it's very great that you can write that poetry, and like you said, you being open about it helps, and you being successful and published and having the books out there, it says so much to people out there, these young teenagers that are just, they're hopeless, and they need to have role models. So hats off to you. That's great.
Yeah, really, they do need role models, and they certainly don't want to use me.
No.
Oh, come on. Won't we use you, William?
No, I don't think so. I think their parents would be very upset. So, no, that's good. And I think, yes, and especially, look, there's a lot of bullying and there's a lot of abusing going on, and if there's somebody out there who actually have lived through it and survived and is going on and doing it for themselves, all power to you. And which reminds me, since, I mean, you do so much dark photography, do you ever venture out of that genre? I mean, do you ever do flowers or...
Actually, now that you mention, yes, I do architecture and nature, things like that, and that will be in my second book, actually.
The one that's just coming out, or you're talking
the one that's just coming out.
The the
Modern Gothique.
Modern Gothique.
Yeah.
Modern Gothic.
Mm-hmm.
Modern Gothique. Yeah.
Oh, Gothique. Yeah.
Gothique. Yeah.
Gothique. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I look forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I really look forward to seeing
that. So there'll be a lot of different things in that one. But realistically, my art initially came from dark places, and I'm even though it does, I'm pretty okay with myself and pretty happy.
Yeah, you are talking.
So there's been no suicide attempts for a good many years.
Not really. No, not for a long time. I died in my heart and lungs stopped in 1987. I was in the military,
Oh.
And,
Well, that's enough to stop your heart. I remember my experience.
Well,
so there you go.
yeah,
Were you
well,
a
they-
contact owner?
I stood up for a guy in the military, and they were going to drown him, and they didn't like the fact that I stood up for the guy. And
But you saved him.
because of that.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, but then later on they got me, and they fatigued me, and they weren't going to save me. But somebody actually had it in their heart to save me, and they did, and now recently, I've learned that my life has purpose.
Which branch of the service was this? Air Force, I suspect.
Navy, actually.
Oh, well, in the Navy. One of those things where you're all around and they just dump you in and you're supposed to save yourself?
No, I used to swim like a fish. And I had to jump off the board 5 times, swim back up, because he kept saying I kept doing it wrong. And I had to tread water for 5 minutes. And then he expected me to swim 250 meters. And I tried, took a couple strokes, went down the first time, coughed water out of my lungs, and he called me some names that I won't repeat on air. And, took a couple more strokes, went down, spit water out of my lungs. He called me some more names. I felt a blow to the side of my head, and everything was lights out.
And then I suppose they gave you a dishonorable discharge. Or a medical discharge.
Failure to adapt to military life.
Failure to adapt to military life, yes, yeah.
Yep. And it's still being fought, but,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that might have been near-death experience, was that wasn't of your own making, for sure.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you ever, did you enlist?
Yeah, I enlisted.
You did enlist, yeah. So did
Yeah.
I. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, strange things we do, don't we do? Yeah.
Yeah. And, mine was to escape the abusive,
Yeah, I mean, when I finished with my military service and it was all over and done, I thought, I really had it easy, because a lot of people really had it bad. And you sound like one of them. So, considering you've had everything else so bad in your life, I'm sorry. It's too bad.
It's okay.
Not anything I can do about it. And if you've survived it and you've come out the other end, all the better person. So.
Well, right, and not only that, my life has gotten a million times better, and it's only going to get better.
Yes, it will.
And I have to keep having a positive attitude and outlook, and that's really even though certain features in my mind create the darkness for the dark art and the dark poetry, but there's other parts of me that are light and happy, and I can't discount that.
Well, you guys, I'm just noticing we're coming up on 30 minutes, so I wanted to take a quick break because I wanted to talk about some other stuff and get off of what will be a little happier when we come back.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, we'll be right back, you guys.
Looking for some erotic literature? Guaranteed to ignite your passion. Look no further than author William Maltese, with titles such as Dare to Love in Oz, Circus Sex, Godmaker Vampires of London, and Love Hurts. You can pick your favorite flavor, from mainstream romance to S&M and gay erotica. Want to get hot in the kitchen or the back of the boat? William also has a line of tasty cookbooks. Check out Back of the Boat Gourmet Cooking, and even gourmets have to diet. Go to WilliamMaltese.com and enjoy over 200 books and over 4 decades of love.
When the sun goes down, do you start to crave something dark and decadent? VampireWear has something for your immortal soul. Jewelry, accessories, and if you dare, VampireWear. Home of the Tribal Fang Necklace. Complete with certificate of authenticity, except no other. Get your VampireWear at VampireWear.com. We always get what we pray for.
In a world of the Para-X Radio Network lies a lounge with food for mind and soul, a place to gather, learn, and chat about the unexplained and paranormal while being served by your most congenial host, Reverend Tim Shaw. Next stop, the Black Cat Lounge, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Para-X Radio Network.
Hey everybody, we are back from break, and if you didn't tune in earlier, we were talking to Patrick E. Flanagan, and he has a couple of one beautiful book out and another one coming out shortly. He's got Gothic Dreamscapes out right now, and soon to be released is Modern Gothique. So welcome back. And
thank you.
And I had a really good question for you. I was thinking about this after we had talked, because you're doing photography in cemeteries all the time. Have you got anything unusual like in your pictures, or had any experiences in doing that? Because a lot of people seem to get, some activity if they're taking photos in cemeteries a lot.
Actually, it's really strange. I only had that happen to me one time in my life of taking photographs. It's only happened one time, and the photograph is actually in Gothic Dreamscapes. But my fiance, however, she captures it all the time. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
We should have her fiance on next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, if she'd want to, it's up to her, not me.
How could she not want to, Patrick?
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, you talk to her and charm her, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, let him talk to her first before we do.
Yeah.
Don't tell her.
Yeah, exactly. So just the once? What was it? Wait, what? Yeah, you might as well tell us what it was.
It was weird because the way the tree turned out, and it just looked weird because it was these little spears, and they weren't there. But when I took the photograph, the photograph turned really weird looking and had these little spears all over the place, and I didn't know what the hell they were. I'm like, what is this?
Are we talking spears with a P or with SPH or SPEA, or spears or
No, SPH.
Spheres, globule things that float around.
Right,
yeah, okay.
globule, yes, exactly.
Not spears, are spears the same as orbs?
Yeah,
right.
Well, they're around like bubble things.
Okay.
Things.
Right.
Think
right.
bubbles.
And that's
yeah.
Right, they're like bubbles. It looked the same, like a bubble or a spear, and it wasn't in the photo, it wasn't on my camera when I took the shot, and I took shots afterwards, and it wasn't there. But I had like 3 of them. It looked almost like another sun or moon or something behind the trees, and I was like, there was nothing there. And I took shots there multiple times after and before, and nothing.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
So, anything else? I mean, not necessarily photography related, but have you ever had any creepy paranormal experiences? I mean, a lot of people who are involved in the dark aspects at least have one. I mean, even I have had a couple.
Oh,
William's had some good ones.
I've had a lot of things happen when I was a child. Creepy, the parents' basement is haunted type of things, and opening and closing doors, stuff like that. And I think, everybody's had those type of experiences. Windows close and doors slam, and you see somebody behind you who isn't there, and out of the corner of your eye. I think everybody's had that. And, most people don't want to admit they've had that experience, but I think everybody has.
Yeah, or they might not acknowledge it.
Exactly.
Or like you said, if your fiance,
Go ahead.
she might get more activity taking photos and that, because if she's just maybe I shouldn't say this, but sometimes women or whatever, maybe she's more open.
Don't alienate a future guest, JoJo. Don't alienate.
No, I'm not.
You better say something very nice about her. Go
probably
ahead.
more.
Go ahead.
She's more open to it. To pay attention to it.
I can agree with that. I kind of, for most of my life, I kind of shut myself down out of that. But, I'm opening myself back up to it, though, more and more. But a lot of my life, I shut myself down to it.
So
okay.
This fiance sounds very dark to me also, Patrick. Are we going back? What's going on here? You've come, yeah. Is
she dark?
Compatible? Yeah. I mean, is she dark too? Does she come from a disturbed background as well? Not that we'll talk about it. No, she's just... She's spent her time in cemeteries?
Well, I mean, we like cemeteries, but she's completely different in that regard. I mean, she's very light and happy, and everything, though, about us is, easygoing.
Oh, good.
We just get along very well.
I mean, I was worried about you there for a while, but that's okay. She sounds like a good compliment for you.
Yeah, she is. She is, and she's amazing.
Yeah,
Joanne, I wanted to tell you something very quickly. I know she was working on your thingies earlier.
Okay.
Joanne's thingies?
Yeah, what's that about?
It's a weird thing. I don't know.
We're not supposed to talk about my thingies. No,
that's right. This happens to be the
it's a woman thing. I don't know. I just don't thingies.
No, she was doing some photos. She was doing some photos for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Thingies.
Thingies.
Photos. Okay, Joe.
Thingies, those thingies.
Yeah, like those women things, photographs. Right.
Well.
Yeah, as if I was
photographs.
If I just dropped off the turnip truck. Go ahead.
Well, maybe one of us did.
Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish. Tell JoJo what your wife has done with your things.
Well, I was gonna tell you what else too, though. But yeah. Yes, she was working on the thingies, but also kind of something cool. I'm working on a cologne, not a cologne, a fragrance with Wicked J. Faye, and we're also working on some jewelry as well.
Oh, cool! That's great.
The fragrance is going to be called Gothique.
Oh, great name!
In honor of my second book.
Yes, well, you may certainly mention that because we have both worked with Wicked J. Faye in the past, and she's done some wonderful things and fragrances for us as well. So, by all means.
She's really wonderful to work with.
Well, she's charming. She really is. She's very charming, and she's very talented. So, there you go.
Yeah, I still have a lot of her perfumes here that I use, and I use them sparingly because I just love them so much, and, I have to get them sent from the States, so... all the way to Canada, but you know what I mean.
Is that expensive?
Well,
not really, but her fragrances are beautiful.
Yeah, it is to ship to Canada. It's expensive to ship anything to Canada.
Yeah, it is. It is more expensive to ship to Canada, but
food and supplies.
Yeah.
Dog.
Wow, you made her sound like she's locked in a cabin.
I'm in an igloo somewhere.
She is.
Oh, really? She's locked in a cabin?
Listen, poor old JoJo, out in the middle of nowhere. I used to think I used to have it bad where I am, but I found out she was in Canada. I mean, that was a poor thing. Yeah.
You make it sound like it's deliverance or something.
Yeah, well, all I know is she told me they play dueling bandos outside her window every morning. So.
That's how I wake up.
And
then I have a pet rooster.
You have a pet rooster.
It crows every morning.
Yeah.
So she knows that's how she can tell it's time for the show.
Yeah.
The rooster hops up on the thingy and crows. I mean, otherwise she'd be lost out there in the hinterlands of Canada with the Indians and the Eskimos.
Otherwise, I'm relying on my sundial. So it's a good thing I have a
good
cock.
luck with that. Yeah. Is there sunshine in Canada?
Well, not a lot.
24 hours a day?
Okay, but let's back on topic here. I wanted to ask Patrick if you have any shows or that coming up soon.
You mean like book signings?
Like book signings, gallery shows, all that fun stuff.
No, not currently. I don't. I do plan on doing some stuff when it's closer to time for the books to release, and I'm also planning on releasing like a special edition of like both of my books packaged with the fragrance and jewelry as well.
Yeah, you should come to that thing May the 4th. I played an ad for it on our show. Tim Shaw is going to be there, and Corvus and all them. It's in Niagara, New York, because it's not that far from
really?
you. You can zip over from Michigan, because Michigan, you're not that far from me either.
Okay.
Even though I'm in Canada.
What's been going on?
It's I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's a convention that's in Niagara Falls, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All sorts of good things. Well, you know, if Tim Shaw is connected with it, that it's going to be a great undertaking, and he is. So, I mean, you might want to look into it. You might want to listen more carefully to the ads that we play in the middle of our program.
I should too. I just couldn't remember the name. You know why?
Well,
because
then you really should pay more attention.
Well, you know what happens.
Whenever you hear Tim Shaw's that name, your ears should just kind of perk up.
Yeah, but there's one here. I get them all mixed up because there's Fear Fest, there's Scream Fest, there's Beer Fest, there's like it's just there's all these fest things, and I just
look, before we I didn't mean to interrupt you. Well, actually, I did mean to interrupt you because I do want to make sure that we get in. We mention the fact that Patrick has been featured in the magazine Gothic Beauty. Okay, because that has a pretty wide circulation, as I remember. So you must have got some good exposure there, Patrick.
Right, I got a little bit of good exposure.
That's a great magazine.
I think that what happened was I had I did my thing for a long time, and people saw it, and friends saw my stuff, and they talked to Corvus, and that's how I originally got published.
Wow. Yeah, because that's...
I'm glad you brought that up, because it's very, very difficult not only to get poetry published, but books these days that have pictures in them, because they're so much more expensive to produce than books that don't have pictures. So I'm always surprised to see a book that comes out with pictures in it, because I've done a graphic novel, and I've done a book of short stories that had picture accompaniments, and I've done 6 cookbooks. And let me tell you, trying to get pictures into a book inexpensively and out there on the stands for sale is not an easy thing to do. So kudos to you in that regard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I love photography, and I love that whole old-fashioned coffee table type of, look. I want something that people, not only do they look through entirely, but read through entirely, and then, put it on their coffee table and don't forget about it, and pick up again and again. If they're feeling a certain way, they can turn to page XYZ and find that poem or that photo, and,
Do you sell prints or your photographs? Prints of your photographs?
I have in the past, and I think I'm going to do that again as well. I'm not set up to do that currently, but I think I will.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah.
And another idea I had an idea for you, too, is you could do, and then I had another idea when I thought of this idea. So,
my goodness, your mind is
just
bubbling over
a second ago, because I had thought you could do like an audio thing, like spoken word. Someone could do the poetry, but then I thought, how cool would it be to do it like a DVD, and you could have the, like cemetery photos on it, or maybe a little bit of video, and then someone do like the audio over top with the poetry, and you could sell a DVD.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick read his poem so well. I don't know why he couldn't do it.
Well, he could do it.
You read that poem very well.
I didn't say who had to do it. Just.
Well, good thing, October. Or you know where you'd be in my book. I think that. Yeah, I think a book of you doing your own poetry would be a book of you doing your own
DVD,
poetry.
Yeah.
An audio of you doing your own. An audio book of you doing your own poetry would be.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Or a CD. Yeah. Or a.
No. That would be. I think Joanne's idea about the DVD is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
You know,
and like I just
a visual tour de force of my book. You know.
Yes. Yeah, because it just, everybody does like video, like trailers for their books and that. Why not do a whole thing with all the poetry and stuff like that? So
I agree. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
And put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And JoJo participate somehow. Even posing in the graveyard.
I'm probably better in the graveyard than the speaking, although, I could probably, but I might.
You can speak. You can do voiceovers. I remember recommending you on LinkedIn.
Yes. I can do voiceovers, but I don't know. Well, I could probably do it. I just have to try to be a little bit darker and not go, woo-woo.
You would actually go woo.
I must admit there is that. You have to be very, very. You'll have to be very, very careful.
Well, I can just see it now as she's reading, one of my darker poems. Goodbye, as I slit my wrist with the razor blade. Blah 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 blah. Woo!
Happy shiny people.
You both might want to rethink that one before it becomes a reality, but it could probably work. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
A little bit of work. Well, if Joanne puts her mind to it, she can do a lot of things. She has.
Oh, I know. I know. She has an excellent speaking voice. Or we can have you doing it, William,
Oh, right. Yeah, well, wait. As soon as my sinus problem leaves, you won't want me doing anything. Believe
I don't know. We could have, we could pretend you're like an aged, Vincent Price type of,
Vincent type. I still have people say, sorry, Mrs. Lambert, sorry, Mrs. this, sorry, Mrs. Maltese, sorry this, so no, you don't want to, no, go ahead.
Well, I used to I'd answer the phone and they go, are your parents home?
Or that.
And I'm going, well.
Hey,
try to make my voice deeper.
No, I don't think so, but I think this is my career in radio.
Oh, come on. I think it would be hilarious, though, as you're doing my poetry, for your voice to go through puberty. I think that'd be great.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. God help us.
Come on, don't you think it would be...
Nothing like something taking really seriously depressing and turn it into it. No, I don't think we want to do that to you.
Oh, come on. It would have humor,
Yeah, right.
Dark and depressing and humorous.
And then I'll come in. Hi. I'll come in at the end and go, woohoo!
Exactly. And then Joanne will go in and go, woohoo!
Oh, something tells me is the show going downhill or am I?
No, I wanted to make sure.
Or am I mistaken?
No,
I wanted to make... in a positive direction, William. Think positively.
We were trying to be lighter.
This glass is half full.
We were trying to lighten it up. Yeah.
But you're only drinking water, so that, hey.
But everybody, I want to make sure that Patrick, before we have to sign off and stuff, we've still got a few more minutes, but tell everybody where they can find your books and all the fun stuff.
The very first book can be found on www.darkmoonpress.com, and it is under the trying to think which section it is under that. It's like education, art, and darkmoonpress.com. And it can also be found, trying to think where, it can be found on VampireWear.com.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It can be found on VampireWear.com. Exactly. And the second book will be everywhere as well.
Can it be? Yeah, because it can be found on Amazon.com, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Amazon.com too.
Well, look, I went to Amazon.com, I'm sure, and they have that peek inside section, which allows you to peek inside.
Oh.
And see some of the pages, and see some of the poems, and see some of the pictures, which I think is a great thing for some people, who are interested. So,
I just found out the show that's May the 4th in Niagara Falls, New York, is called Para-Horror.
Para-Horror.
Horror.
Okay.
Yeah, horror.
Okay.
Yes,
such a hard...
this is the Para-X.
That's always such a hard word to say.
So don't get it confused.
Horror.
What, horror or horror?
Horror.
Yeah, horror.
Horror. It is horror. Horror.
Sometimes
That's right.
when I'm doing the shows and I'm selling the blood vial jewelry, people go, "Well, what's in this?" When it's the fake blood, and I always think fake blood doesn't sound very like great, right? So I always say it's it's horror special effects blood, and their eyebrows kind of shoot up.
Yeah, right. Like, what kind of special effects is that? I wonder. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, you can find out.
Right.
I just got the address too in chat. The information on the show in Niagara Falls is parahorror.com. So PARAHORROR.com. So if anybody wants to check that out, and you should, Patrick, that would be really, really cool.
All right. Well, I hopefully I can. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, and where's the new book going to be available? When?
Yeah.
Well, the fragrance should be available in the next couple of months, and the same way with the new book. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.thedkp.com. It's thedkp.com. The Dark Publishing .com. So it's just those letters. So thedkp.com.
Oh, okay. But there's one for...
So you can Google.
THE DKP.com.
All right. It only took you 6 tries to get that out. But
I know, right? You would think I've been drinking shit.
Yeah, I mean, really.
There was another one, though, too. The Gothic Dreamscapes has a website, right?
Well, it does have a website, but I don't think you can order the book on there anymore. I think that's defunct.
Oh, okay.
And it used to be GothicDreamscapes.com, but I think the only through Dark Moon Press,
okay,
you can get the book there, or I said, you can get the book through VampireWear.com.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's great. So we're gonna get going here because we've got the next show up is called Butterfly Effect with Ginger Quinlan, and she has an amazing guest tonight, Robbie Thomas, who's a psychic, and he's just wonderful. I've seen him on a lot of shows myself. And if anybody wants to get some one-handed erotic reads, make sure you check out William Maltese on Amazon.com, and also all his great cookbooks. And if you're into Gothic jewelry, footwear, candles, books, all things Gothic, please check out my site, VampireWear.com. And join us next Wednesday at 8 o'clock here on Para X. We're so happy to be here. Yeah. So everybody have
good night, everyone.
Good night.
And thank you, Patrick. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Thank you very much.